Hi everyone and welcome to Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. It is time for another club preview on the Friday night, which will probably go out Saturday morning for you, I'm not sure. But yeah, support for Club at 22, the Rangers podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, as you can see in my t-shirt, who's the best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code club at 22 at manscaped.com. Always use the right tools with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. And that leads me nicely on to three men who I'm pretty sure are Manscaped themselves. First of all, we'll go to the most Manscaped man is Scotia. How are you, Scotia? Have you used that toner on? Have you used the toner on your balls yet? No.
No, the pack arrived today, so it's been a fairly shitty week, to be honest, for a whole different variety of reasons. But that
cheer you up
today.
Then.
Yeah, it did indeed. Yeah.
No, and we've got Ryan as well. Ryan, were you happy with our wee present in the post this week?
Absolutely delighted. That was a highlight of my week. I know it wouldn't be hard, but highlight of my week was that coming through and getting a wee trim at my nuts. So yeah, brilliant.
And finally, we have Scott Carney. How are we doing today?
This is ridiculous, isn't it? It's funny. Look, we all needed a wee pick-me-up after the week we've had, and what a laugh we've just had talking about that there. And well done, Ali, for being the first one to read out that wee promo, mate. Obviously, we're delighted to the support of it. Please go and check their stuff out. It's brilliant. You would be supporting our podcast if you use our code, so it would really mean a lot to us. But yeah, we're going to have a bit of a laugh with this stuff, and I think we all needed a wee pick-me-up after this week.
Yeah, the four of us will be trying all the products. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. Scotia promised a live show for the Viceroy tomorrow night if somebody's shaving his buzz, so that should go down well for Hal. That's a Halloween special, so yeah. No,
is that a subscription?
It could be an OnlyFans, it could be an OnlyFans for Scotia. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, lads, enough of that. I know it's Friday night and everything, we're having a bit of laugh, but we need to get into the serious chat of the world of Rangers. So, first of all, I know Scotia and Ryan weren't on they couldn't make the tribute that me and Carney did to Walter Smith during the week, which was quite hard. And I would like to thank a lot of people, comments, especially on YouTube, towards myself and Carney. It was a difficult one to do, but we felt we had to do it. So we thank everyone for your comments. And I personally have had a lot of comments, text messages from people saying they thought it was a good tribute. So we appreciate that. So yeah, the Union Bears did a big display for Walter. Obviously the players, the manager laid a wreath outside the John Gregg statue as well. So Scotia, I'll come to you first. Obviously it's a few days after now. Have you got any thoughts to share on Walter Smith?
Yeah, well, I mean, firstly, props to yourself and Carney for doing it on Tuesday evening. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't have been able to make it through. And as well, I thought to myself, just work a lot later in the evening to make sure that I got up and at the Ibrox the following day and plenty of time to kind of pay my own respects. So yeah, I was kind of devastated, knocked the stuffing out me when I seen the news come through, and I didn't know what to do with myself for a while. It took me about 6 attempts to listen to David Edgar and Heart and Hand and his tribute that came out sort of in the afternoon on Tuesday. Obviously seen Coistie's tribute and Talk Sport. All of them were really moving. The stuff on Super Scoreboard, we slate it sometimes, but that was a really good show that evening. It took me until the next day to listen to Used To, because I couldn't bring myself to do it, and I listened to like the Rangers Rabble and the Battle Fever podcast and their tributes as well. And they were all really good and really moving. Yeah, so it was just really sad. It's a really sad day, and I knocked the stuffing out me, like I say.
Yeah, no, it was difficult for me and Carney to do, and I mentioned obviously Walter lives down your neck of the woods in Helensburgh, and how thought of the family are down in Helensburgh. So yeah, and a lot. I mean, you've seen in social media what Walter is, not just the Rangers family, but the whole of Scottish football and world football. Ryan, yourself wasn't on this week due to work commitments. Any thoughts on Walter as well to share with the guys out there listening?
I do. But again, I want to echo what Scott says. I take my hat off. Scotia says I want to take my hat off to both of you for doing that podcast, because it was very difficult, and I think it was a lovely tribute he's made, and I did say it in the group chat. But I mean, I think he showed a lot of courage to come on at that time. I was struggling with the news. I've always found it strange when people get upset over celebrities dying. I was in bits for a few days there. I really was, and I'm sure you all agree that if you look back, if Walter Smith hadn't been our manager when we were all young at like 10, 8, 9, 10, whatever we were, who's to say we would have been Rangers fans? Who's to say that if he didn't bring that glory during those years, that we would have went on to be Rangers fans? Maybe we would have just sacked it for something else. Because I know when I was young, I loved the glory. When you're that age, you love seeing the trophies and Walter lifting trophies and signing big players, and it was part of your youth. He was part of my youth, and he was an ambassador for the club. And I don't think there's much more you can say about him, man. He was an absolute gem, and I think we should just be glad that we had him.
Yeah, no, 100%. He's given me the best years with Rangers, if you want to say, in terms of, I mean, we were all of a similar age, all of us here, and we've seen obviously 9 in a row. We've seen the 92, 93. We've seen Christ getting UEFA Cup finals and come back for a second spell and guiding us to 3 championships. It's an incredible record, and he sums up what Rangers is about. Walter Smith. He's the guy that, if, like I said in the tribute, if I had to describe Rangers in a person, it's Walter Smith. Mm-hmm. So yeah. But me and Carney have talked ourselves about, we'll probably do a tribute show further down the line, maybe an international break, or maybe over the January break, in terms of favourite moments under Walter, etc. So we'll bring that to you at one point. Carney, I'll come at you as well. Obviously, you're at the game. You were up there quite early doors and stuff. What was your thoughts going to the game and stuff, and the display for the Union Bears, which I thought was really good?
Yeah, the Union Bears did themselves proud, to be honest. It was a rather fitting tribute that they done. And kudos for them for getting it sorted and getting it done that quickly. I mean, it can't be easy to get something like that done at that scale that quickly, so kudos to them for that. And yeah, I'll just echo what you said, Ali, as well. The comments that we've had it's been pretty spectacular, to be honest. It's quite humbling, and I didn't really realise what we were doing as such, as kind of we were putting ourselves out there, I suppose, and we were putting our emotions literally on a plate for everybody to see. It's not easy to do, and as you can tell from the recording, I struggled to get through it, and I really do appreciate the kind words that everybody said to us. Again, we've said it a million times, so just still pass on our condolences to Walter's family. I hope they're managing through this tough time, and the tribute at the gates when I went up was pretty amazing, to be honest. I went up with a scarf, laid it in behalf of everybody at the podcast, Jamie included, and that. And yeah, even standing there, and you could just feel it. I think, Ryan, you'd messaged it in the group chat. You could feel it. You could literally stand outside and just feel that something was a wee bit different. And it's rather touching. As I say, I must admit, I held it better. I held it together better than I thought I would at the game, apart from when the 2 guys that are sitting next to me come in, who watched this pod, come in and were like, no greeting, we seen you. And they said as well, respect to me for me and you, Ali, for doing that podcast on Tuesday night. And yeah, it's tough. There's not much more I can add that's not already been said. It's a tough thing to deal with, but the tributes and everything that's went with it has been great, and it just shows the stature of the man. Walter Smith is Mr. Rangers, and he always will be. Yeah,
I think probably sums it up quite nicely. But yeah, going unfortunately from the news of Walter, we need to touch on the football side of it. It brought back memories when we were all singing Walter Smith's Blue My Army, for me, going away back to 9 in a row, and when he came back for his second spell. But that Rangers team in the park on Wednesday night was not a Walter Smith team for me in terms of the performance they put in. I mean, I don't want to go through the whole game bit by bit, but we'll just touch on the first goal. I'll come to you, Ryan. Me and Carney did obviously the aftermatch in the car. To me, everyone in the ground seen what was going to happen. Why we try to play from the back is beyond me. What was your thoughts on that goal?
Halloween Sunday, that was a fucking horror show the other night there. Absolute horror show. I'm not going to single out one man, but we'll just go through them because it was an absolute joke. It was, if my son's team do that on a Saturday, I'm pulling them in and rolling at them. Goldson's choice of pass, why are you passing to somebody who's got somebody running behind him? Kamara's the man you pass to in the middle of the park with nobody near him. Lundstrom is casual going to the ball, just lackadaisical, but that runs throughout the team, so I don't really want to pull Lundstrom up for that. It seems to be a mentality thing rather than an attitude with us just now. Once we lose the ball, Tavernier jogs towards the guy coming in with the ball, then Goldson leaves his man and goes towards the boy with the ball who slips Hedges in. Is it Hedges that crosses it, isn't it?
I think so.
Could be.
So the three of them are ball watching, and then on top of that, as soon as Hedges gets slipped in, Balogun leaves his man, Ramirez. It was, I've not seen a goal like that for years for Rangers. It was horrific, absolutely horrific, but it's the attitude of them. I've watched that goal 3 or 4 times and I've paused it, and it gets worse and worse every time you see it, and there's an attitude thing with them. I've said this for a few weeks now. They look very, very lackadaisical and look as if they think they can just turn up because, I don't know if it's because they've won the league last year or I don't know what it is, but they need to get their act together. That defending is horrific.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what else more to say about it, to be honest. It was embarrassing. I said it's worse than schoolboy football. Like you say, if you've seen that in schoolboy football, you would be pulling them up. It's criminal. It really is. And Rangers, for some God-known reason, are just not starting games correctly. And they need to sort it out. And I'm sick of saying it. We're coming into November now and it's still the same crap. So, Scotia, as a defender at heart yourself, what was your thoughts on that first goal?
Yeah, Ryan summed it up really well there, so I would just be repeating pretty much everything he said. I mean, I look at it with Balogun in particular, and he's got that 50-50 decision to make whether he sticks with Ramirez or he goes to the player at the front post because Goldson's let him go away, and he unfortunately picks the wrong one. But just defensively, I mean, I've been saying it all season that I've thought the defence looked shaky, and it's been getting worse the past few weeks, to be honest. And yeah, that sums it up at the moment. That's been coming for a while. I think you could see it in some of our playing previous games that something like that was bound to happen at some point because we're just being too lackadaisical with the ball at times and trying to be too clever. And you don't do that against a team like Aberdeen, who this is like a big, massive game for them. We all know that the Aberdeen Rangers game is quite a big game over the season. Don't do that against a team like Aberdeen.
Yeah, no, it was me and Carney mentioned in the post-match in terms of you've been saying it for quite a while now in terms of defence, and Carney, he kind of gave teams, especially Aberdeen, a goal at the start, and to make it even worse, we've let them give them 2 goals at a start, a ball into the box, Tav loses his man, and of all men who score, it was Scott Brown runs away, does the bloody Morelos celebration to rub it into us, and it just went for bad to us.
It really did. It was one of the worst starts to a game we've had in I don't know how long. Back to what Ryan said there, with Goldson passing to Lundstrom. I would even argue, mate. I mean, Connor Goldson has gave him a suicide pass there. There's nothing Lundstrom can do with that. Literally nothing he can do. And even the argue you said there about passing to Kamara, I think Goldson would be better playing it to you, mate, and you playing the glove in front. Just get the ball out of... They were pressing us too high. Get the ball out of danger. I don't understand why we have this kind of overwhelming pride that we won't clear the ball when there's a bit of danger happening, and then learn from their mistake and go, right, well, let's not do that again. But we just continue to do the same thing. It drives my dad bonkers. See Ibrox with him. Honestly, he's always screaming out, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? And I get why we do it, because we're trying to pull them out, we're trying to move them on, but it doesn't work all the time. And I don't even know how good the success rate has been with it this season. Last season's a different story. We did it a lot of times last season and it worked, and we scored some fantastic goals from back to front last season by using this tactic. But this season, it just seems to be bringing on pressure. And yeah, the second goal, I will give kudos to, twice I've said kudos in this pod, I'll give credit to James Tavernier for coming out and taking full responsibility for the second goal, and it just had to be Scott Brown. I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't going to be anybody else that was going to score a header. I don't know how many headers he's scored in his career, but it can't be very many, and he has to do it at Ibrox to make it 2-0. So yeah, it was a poor half. I mean, Gerrard, even in the post-match, had mentioned that we gifted them the first goal. We've gifted them 2 goals. There's no way that it's call it a defensive lapse for the second goal if you like, but it's a gift of 2 goals. And you're spot on. You cannot give Aberdeen this kind of momentum because they only play 3 or 4 times a season, and it's when they play Rangers, they don't bother the rest of the season. So, yeah, it was a poor show.
Yeah, and I mean, Rangers get back into it fairly quickly with Morelos, which was I thought it was a decent goal for Morelos. Couple of decent chances after that. Joe Lewis in Aberdeen goal has a couple of good saves, and we go into half time at 2-1 down, and I says to you, Carney, in Scotia, I honestly thought that the best we were getting out of this was a draw. I couldn't see Rangers winning. The way Aberdeen set up, they're quite comfortable playing. I think it was 5 at the back. They had Scott Brown was playing at the back with them as well. They're a poor team, Aberdeen. I mean, we've made an arse of it once again. But Ryan, what was your thoughts going in at half time?
Pretty much the same as yourself. I think we're all feeling that we can't see ourselves going on and winning a game like that, and the reason is we're not creating enough chances from open play. It's a huge problem for Rangers just now. Yes, we're not defending well, but I don't think we created a one chance from open play. And you might correct me on Wednesday. I don't remember. I know Golson had his header, which was from a corner, I think. Morelos scored. I don't remember anything from open play from Rangers. And I'm trying not to be too negative, but it is very hard. Aberdeen could have went up 3-0, if you remember correctly. Mm-hmm. They had a bit of play. I think it was 3-on-5, and the ball got cut back, and Aribo was just watching Lewis Ferguson walk into the box, and Lewis Ferguson could have took a touch, flicked it up and smashed it in the back of the net. He didn't realise how much time he had. But that's going back to what you're saying. At half-time, I felt that it'd be a miracle if we won that game, and that's where we are at just now. That's the standard we're playing at just now. We are not defending well enough at the back, and we're not creating enough up top. And I was thinking to myself, even if we do get an equaliser, are Aberdeen not going to score again?
Yeah, it's worrying at the moment. It really is worrying at the moment, these Rangers performances. And when we went into the second half, and to be honest, it's the same kind of huffed and puffed, and I don't really remember Joe Lewis having really anything to do in the second half, to be honest. And then he brings a few substitutions on. Sakala comes on. Who else came on? Scott Wright came on, and we get a penalty with 10 minutes to go. And I know I've seen a lot of folk on Twitter and social media having a go at cheating beating, if you want to call him, in terms of he's giving Rangers a penalty and all this. But there's visuals of the David Bates does have his hand on the shirt of Sakala. So Stonewaller. I was about to say, and if VAR was involved, it would be a penalty. Scotia, what was your thoughts? Obviously, you were sitting beside me at the time, but what was your thoughts when Kamar Roof wasn't on the park and it was Tav stepping up?
Yeah, well, I'll go back a wee bit. I want to speak about their second goal if I can. And Ryan, you might have mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but we seem to have stopped putting someone on the post at corners. And there was a chance, I think that it was Goldson that headers it, and it's cleared off the line by an Aberdeen defender on the post. I don't know why we've stopped, because usually you would always see Davis standing there at a corner, and I don't know why we're not doing it anymore, because that Scott Brown chance could have been nullified if there was someone in the post, and they could have got to it potentially. So I don't know why we've stopped doing that. Then we go into the second half. Yeah, I think Roof played the offside, played that back line offside really well, and he get through and goal, but slips a wee bit, but manages to get kind of a cross away to Morelos for him to header it, and it just goes wide. But I think that, Ryan, like you mentioned, I think that's probably the only bit from open play that I can really, really remember from the game. And then, yeah, the penalty itself, I think it was a penalty. Having seen it back now, get no complaints there. I don't know why people are moaning and saying that it's a we're getting favourable decisions. So it was a penalty, but I turned to you and we're like, oh no, roof's off. And I can't recall Tav's penalty stats off the top of my head, but recently they've not been good. So there was a wee bit of worry, if I'm being honest, but thankfully he knocks it away and it was a really good penalty from him.
Yeah, no, to give Tav credit, there was pressure on him and he buries it well, Tav, to be fair. It was a great penalty, but Carney, 10 minutes to go, huffed and puffed, never did anything, and the game just dwindled away and it was a 2-each draw. A lot of people have said a point was we get out of jail with a point, but that is now, and I'd love, I don't know if Scotia could tell us or anyone else could tell us, but that is 3 home games on the trot now. We have drawn games and throwing 6 points away. I said to you in the car, Carney, it's not as if you give these teams credit as if to say, they deserved a point. Rangers have thrown 6 points away. Yeah, and obviously we were in the card at the aftermatch, but how are you feeling days on in terms of that is 6 points we have thrown away and the gap's just down to 2 points now?
I can't disagree with you. I think it's not good enough. You won't win the league doing that, and as annoying as it sounds, and I don't want people to think that I'm saying that we aren't going to win the league, but we won't win the league doing what we're doing right now because we're just literally gifting points away as if they don't really matter. I'm a wee bit unsure about what's going on with the team specifically. It's quite hard to judge. Gerard's been asked if it's confidence, everything else, if it's system, and he always, it's stuff I need to improve on, it's stuff I need to work on, and he obviously knows, and I'll be interested to see if anything does change. Obviously we'll come out later on, but I fully expect the team to be pretty similar going into the Motherwell game. I don't see many drastic changes happening, and I'll just be interested to see what sort of reactions, even at that, saying reactions probably a wee bit of a over exaggeration of things. We have came back from 2-0 down to draw 2 each. The biggest frustration why we're so annoyed at drawing 2 each is because that was our own doing. It was nothing to do with what Aberdeen done. It was all down to what we done. It was stupid mistakes and playing ourselves into a corner when we don't need to. But 3 points from 3 home games, not good enough.
Yeah, no, I said to you in the car, it's not good enough. We took maximum points at home last season. I know that's a one-off, but this season, it's not good enough. And Ryan, obviously, 3 draws in the trot now at home. We're limping through this season at the moment. I mean, we say it every week in this bloody podcast, and folk must get fucking sick hearing it. We're waiting for a performance, and it doesn't happen. It's yeah. What do you think? Do you think there's something wrong within the team, the formation, or do you just think, as you said earlier on, it's an attitude problem in terms of we won last season and it's as if we just need to turn up this season?
Well, I think we're all being honest. I don't think people tune in for us to sugarcoat it. So I think we're being honest. So I do believe it's an attitude thing because I think before we won the title, this team had an attitude a problem. We would beat Celtic and we would go and lose the next week because I think the players thought, job done, we've beat Celtic, we're in their heads, that's the league over, or that's Celtic out the cup, so it'll be our cup, so we just need to turn up. I do think there is an attitude problem with these players, that they do get ahead of themselves or their egos get too big. That's what I'm putting it down to. If you take a minute next time you're watching Rangers and watch how slow we are on the ball, and it is a collective thing, it is a team thing. They're all slower on the ball and there looks a lack of desire, and like I've said in the umpteen podcast, repeat myself, we're not hunting in packs the way we were. As soon as we lost the ball last season, there was this, I loved watching it, there's this hunger for the ball, they all wanted the ball. I don't see that this season. I've not seen it once, possibly against Celtic. You can't just turn up against Celtic. We're going to get caught out, and we've been saying that, and we are getting caught out. That's already happened. I agree with you said, Ali. The 3 home games we have thrown the points away. The only game where I would have possibly given the opposition a bit of credit was Hibs. I I thought Hibs came and took the game to us, and the sending off changed the game. Who's to say we wouldn't have come into it? But playing the way we were, Hibs probably take a bit of credit, but we've thrown the points away, and if the inevitable happens on Saturday and we drop down a position, we've only ourselves to blame.
Yeah, that probably leads on what I was going to ask Scotia there. What does it take, Scotia, for this Rangers team to wake up? Do you think, obviously, the other side of the city have got the chance to go top of the league for 24 hours, whatever it is, 12 hours on Saturday if they beat St Johnstone at home? Could that be the spark to give Rangers that kick up the arse to go, no, here, they're a serious challenge, and they are a serious challenge. You can laugh at them all you want. They are a serious challenge. Do you think that could be the kick up the arse this Rangers team need to go to Motherwell on Sunday and cement us back at the top of the league again?
Yeah, well, I mean, if Celtic do win on Saturday, then I hope it does boot them up the arse. Although I would think the grumblings in Ibrox on Wednesday evening were pretty loud. It's been the loudest grumbles I've heard in a while, and I think that's obviously down. We were all feeling all sorts of different emotions during the game. So I hope it does. I mean, that's us now played like a third of the before split fixtures, so we've played everyone once. We've probably had the easier fixtures between us and Celtic because we've had all what you would call the tougher teams at home, really. We are 5 points off where we were after 11 games last season. So those 6 points that we've dropped at home, we would be ahead of where we were last season. Looking at the points, but I still think we would be grumbling with the way that we've been playing all season. We've just not had that fluidity. So something needs to put them up the arse because it's not been good enough. Is that the return of Ryan Kent? I know he's going to be a while yet, but that sort of player that kind of grabs the grain by a scruff of the neck, got a bit of pace about him and can change it, because at the moment no one's doing that in the team.
Yeah, no, I think he's critical to the way we press in that front line. I think middle to front at the moment it's a bit disjointed at times, but yeah, from one fiasco in the park on Wednesday night to another fiasco which I thought was the Hibs tickets. Obviously we're all known my jers. I assume we've all ticked the all home games. We are all season tickets, which put us, I think, in tier 1 out of 6 tiers. The my jers email came through. I think it was just after 5 o'clock when most folk have just turned their laptops off at work, which wasn't ideal. And you had to click the link through, and you had to basically choose your stand and buy your own ticket. Now, I know Scotia, you get yours fairly easy. I think Carney didn't know how to change the address. I went on personally myself. I mean, first of all, I'd just like to say, the reason I am on the CCs is because I don't have to fucking do anything. Rangers tell me you get a ticket and they'll take the money out of my account. That is the reason I'm on it. Yeah. And I'm sure that's the reason you guys are on it too. So for them to say I need to go in and do something, it defeats the purpose of it to me, to be honest. And I went on myself, and I've been in social media. A lot of other guys and girls have had the exact same problem in terms of, can I get a ticket? The website's not good enough. It was saying you had already had a ticket. It was saying to people they wouldn't accept their debit cards. Me personally, I went on. It took me 2 hours to get a ticket. I went on and it kept saying you one maximum ticket you could get, and I hadn't bought it. I even FaceTime Scotia to show him. He was looking at it going, I don't even know what it is either. I came back for work, finally get through to it. It pulled through, so I put all my debit card details in, wouldn't accept it. Had to do it all again, gave it my credit card details, and it accepted. So it's gone through. But looking in social media, I was not alone. And to me, it's an utter farce. The website is not fit for purpose, and Rangers need to look into this. I'll come to you, Ryan, because I've spoke to Scotia and Scott in terms of this. What was your experience? Was it a happy experience, or was it like myself where it was a complete pain in the arse?
Well, mine was absolutely fine. I got my ticket straight away, but I was anticipating that problems with it because I'd seen you guys mention about it. But also, when I was doing my St Mirren ticket, obviously, going back to what you said, see this, do you want to apply for a ticket, to put your name in a hat for an away ticket? And this is a nonsense. if you're a MyJers member and a season ticket holder and you want away games, your name should be in the hat. And if you get a ticket, you get a ticket. That's the way it was for years. I don't know why they've started this. Do you want to apply to be in the ballot? I don't understand that. It just makes it overcomplicates things. But when I did the St Mirren ticket, it wouldn't let me. I always get my tickets posted to my dad's address, so it wouldn't let me select my dad's address, and then it kept it kept going scrolling up without me scrolling it, and it wouldn't let me select the address, and I must have done it 20, 30 times because I knew I was doing the right thing, and then it eventually let me do it. So it's probably the same kind of experience you've had with your semi ticket. Rangers ticket office in general is in the dark ages. It has been for years. They don't have a customer service centre where you can call and speak to somebody and just say, I'm having issues with this, can you give me help? And they've all got a centralised system where they can help you out with a ticket issue. It's in the dark ages, but I don't anticipate Rangers taking any action on this because everything gets sorted out and the money comes in and that's it. I think Rangers have always been like they really need to take a bit more consideration to the supporters because it's not a user-friendly website at all, the MyJers thing, and it's so complicated. So I feel for you, but I assume you've all got your tickets, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's where Rangers will just think to themselves, that's it, you've got a ticket. So I hope it does change, but I don't anticipate it will, Ali.
Yeah, no, I just don't think it's user-friendly. I mean, we're all, I would say, semi-tech savvy, to be honest, but the older generation, I mean, my dad, if he was going on, wouldn't have a bloody clue how to work that. I mean, I can just see the older guys going on having nightmares with this. I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair how you don't have the option even to pick your ticket up at Ibrox or the ticket office. You need to pay for the postage as well. As you say, there's no customer service. Poor Greg, the SLO, gets bombarded with folk because it's him. I actually sent an email to Rangers email about this when I was having difficulties, and even though I did get my ticket, but I've today nothing back at all. I know Carney, I'll come at you now. You try to change your address. Have you had anything back for your ticket office?
Not a thing, mate. No. So yeah, I in terms of going in, I was fine straight away, no problem. It all worked, and then I changed the address to from where I wanted them delivered. And when the confirmation email came through, all I had on it was Glasgow and my postcode. And I'm like, well, but I mean, like, that's useless, literally useless. So I had to send an email because you can't go back in. Look, we could go on and on about this website. I will agree with Ryan. I don't see Rangers changing it because everybody muddles through and still manages to get their ticket at the end of the day. There must be a third-party website or something that we can easily be linked to. There's a ticket system. It's all ready to rock and roll. There is no need for Rangers to have to do all this themselves. They should be outsourcing it if they're not willing to put it into action if they want. But yeah, everybody has problems with this. It's an absolute shocking service. It really, really is. And I can't disagree with Ryan. Rangers won't change it as long as we still pay the money and you get your ticket. They don't care.
Yeah, no, of course. What I even said I'll come to you, Scotia. I even said to Scotia, obviously he's Hampden more than us following Scotland in terms of their ticketing system. Is it the same as what we use and Celtic use the same as us in terms of the scanner? Why couldn't they have just sent a QR code as they've been doing this season to everyone? It would solve the problem. You wouldn't have to pay that £1 admin fee. Where does that go, by the way? Yeah, as a man, Scotia, you've been to Hampden obviously quite recently. Do they have the capability to, like I say, to send a QR code? To me, that would solve quite a lot of issues.
Yeah, I mean, they've had them in there now for a while. I think they were all installed prior to the Euros, or maybe even before that. Can't recall. Obviously, that season was curtailed because of COVID. I'd maybe disagree, actually, with Scott and Ryan there about Rangers changing it. I mean, I don't think it's the ticket centre's fault itself. I just don't think they've been provided the resources to deal with what's happening, and it's been like that since I can remember. It's not been any better since they all got shifted out into the porter cabins. And I have heard interviews with Stuart Robinson and people like that saying that it is something they're looking into. So I hope they do change it. So I'll maybe give them a wee bit of leeway in that, but it isn't good enough at the moment for the kind of demand, because that email comes through you go straight on to buy it straight away, and everyone's doing the exact same. It doesn't seem to be very compatible with mobile phones, certainly not with my iPhone. It doesn't look great, so you need access to a laptop. Also don't like the queuing system. You queue, then you get in, then you need to log in, and then it puts you back in the queue. I don't know what that's all about. So, but mine's went off. I got mine fairly quickly, no major issues, but I've had issues in the past, and yeah, like the stories that the guys tell there, yeah, it's not good enough at the moment, so they do need to improve it. On the something on the ticket and stuff itself, there's obviously those 6 tiers. Now, tier 1 was all season ticket holders, members of MyJers on the CCCS. Tier 2 was pretty much the same, but without the MyJers members. So you're asking people to pay another 50 quid a season to guarantee themselves in that tier 1 at the moment. Is that fair or not? Is that fair with folk that are maybe get 4 or 5 season tickets in a family? That's a bit of an issue. I think some people will be upset in that, although I've not been in social media very much this week. So I don't know if that's been a major complaint, but you're putting kind of money in it, making yourself having to pay more financial stuff towards guaranteeing yourself a ticket. Sorry.
Yeah, but I would say it's a money maker for Rangers MyJers in terms of what it is, and if we do make it to the final, I would assume we would all be in tier 1 again and in the driving seat to get a ticket for the final. So that might pump your guys in tier 2 to buy MyJers to get into tier 1.
Just on MyJers, I've said it before, I have seen very little benefits from MyJers at all, and I'll call a spade when I see it. It's either a discount in a store, a discount in the restaurant, actually, when COVID got restricted, released a wee bit, and the lockdown was released a wee bit, and we got to go for something to eat. Me and you, Ali, went for something to eat, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, access to this semi-final ticket, yes. Paying an extra 50 quid when I already pay for my season ticket is like, right, okay. You're kind of... Look, the whole concept behind MyJers would be brilliant if I thought it was ready to go, but I don't think it is. I think there's a lot of work needs done on MyJers. I just don't think it's really beneficial, to be completely honest. I even went to buy the 4th top that went out, the white one, went into the store, went to use my MyJers card. She's like, you can't use that in here. And I'm like, well, what is the point in this? why am I standing in this store buying this? I've got to buy it online, or so I pay for postage. Right, okay, aye. It's just that it's taking the piss a wee bit, to be completely honest. And if they get it all right and the promises that they said on MyJers, they actually eventually deliver it, then okay, I'm all for it. But right now, just paying an extra 50 quid a year just so I get early access to a semi-final ticket, which I probably would have already got, to be completely honest. I would probably still have got it then, because a lot of people don't go to Hampden, and I know a lot of people that would take the ticket and then say, look, I've got a ticket, but I don't go to Hampden. They're a ticket or whatever. So, yeah, it needs work. It needs work.
Yeah, I think most people buy it for that reason, to get priority for, like Ryan, away tickets, semi-finals, and if we are lucky enough to get to the final, it should give us priority to get to the final. So that's the way I look at it. But yeah, I don't want to mum and moan this whole podcast, because that's all we've done so far. So we're running a wee bit. But I'm just going to touch just quickly, and I want you all just to give a quick answer on it. The B team obviously played the same night we played Aberdeen in the Challenge Cup, or whatever the hell it's called now, and beat Alloa. I think Ryan's pal plays for Alloa, actually, 3-2. And there was a young Colombian man who me, Scotia and Carney, I've actually seen in the flesh, Alegria, who scored a hat-trick. Now, a lot of these lads, when you look at them, they look like 18, 19-year-old boys. Alegria looks older than a 19-year-old, if you want to say. And I'll just come to you, and just a quick one. Do you think we could possibly see this boy make the bench in terms of potential games coming up? In terms of, we're not scoring many goals at the moment. He's just scored a hat-trick. He looks quite well in the B team. Is it worth popping him on the bench and giving him a run out in a game where possibly we could be a couple of goals up? Scotia, I'll come to you first.
Well, he's started twice. He scored 5 goals, or he's played twice.
It's a quick comment. I won.
That's what I'm saying. Played twice, scored 5. He was at Honka. Well, he was in the Finnish Premier League, so it's maybe a step down. So yeah, he could be there. And the B team are playing tomorrow against Berwick Rangers at 3. If anyone's got nothing to do.
Yeah, I've seen that. Carney, what's your thoughts?
You have to remember the level of opposition he's currently playing against. However, I don't think it would hurt the team at all to bring him up. I think he has trained with the first team a few times as well. Him and McCann have trained with the first team a few times. So, I mean, it can't hurt. I'm of the opinion that Sakala's nowhere near it. So, don't know. This young lad might be full of confidence for rattling goals in. So, you never know. And I don't think it would harm us. Maybe early stages of the Scottish Cup possibly might see him.
Yeah, Brian?
I've not seen him, so this is going to sound harsh, but it's a no for me. He's playing in a development team for a reason. I don't see him having the standard of striking ability to take us where we want to be.
That's fair enough. At least you disagreed with us. Comments will be happy.
That's the only reason I did it.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just because I seen him score a hat trick. It was good goals he scored. Al was an alright team, to be fair, and I just thought he'd fling on the bench one game and see what he's got. But anyway, we'll move from that straight into the Motherwell game. So we had the presser, so I'll try and get through this quite quickly. It was Gerrard and Scotia's main man, Hadji, was in an interview. So it was quite a long one if you want to go on, 11 minutes, I think it was, with Gerrard today. But he was asked the usual about Motherwell coming to Ibrox, and he said Motherwell will probably fancy it, to be honest, in terms of they got a draw at Ibrox last time. He was asked if he was a wee bit nippy to some of the reporters today. He was asked about the recent run in terms of every time Rangers have supposedly come out to show what they're all about, it's never really happened and went a bit flat. And he kind of returned and went, well, we've only lost 1 game in 50 games, which when you put it that way, it's quite impressive. I know we are mumping and moaning about how bad we've been, but when you put it that way, you go, right, okay. It puts it in perspective a wee bit. And he says basically it's a lot of outside noise, but he says we have the belief and we need to move forward. And he was also asked about people moaning about referees in terms of how they are favourable towards Rangers. And he said it's outside noise, it's other teams' social media, but he did mention if VAR does come in, and I know there is a vote for VAR coming up soon, then these people can't argue about it because we'll have VAR, so they can't argue about it. So, yeah, that was pretty much in terms of that. And then he had a squad update. So Ryan Kent is kind of outside now, and the same with Ryan Jack, but the two of them won't make the Motherwell game. He did say on them, though, which I'm surprised, speaking to you today, Carney, that we should see them before the international break. I thought we might see them after, but he said we should see them before, which is a big positive because they're 2 massive players going forward. He said Hollander was progressing well, but as we've said before, can't see him coming back till next year. And Barisic should be back for the Bromby game. So that was a bit on that. He was also asking Goldson's contract in terms of is it affecting his performance. And again, he referred to social media in terms of he doesn't listen to other people's opinions. That's for Connor to answer that himself, and he doesn't think it's affecting him. And he was also asked about Michael Beale being linked with a Cardiff City manager's job because Mick McCarthy's been sacked, and he's not heard anything, but at the same time, he's not surprised. So, that was pretty much for Gerrard. I would go on and have a listen to it. It was 11, 12 minutes long. It was actually not a bad one today. And obviously, Hadji was asked as well about Motherwell. Usual crap they ask the players. I hate the fucking player one, to be honest. And he basically said the usual thing. We need to go out and deliver the 3 points. But there was one interesting stat that Hadji got asked that I never even knew about, to be honest, that Rangers have went behind in 8 games this season, which I thought was quite interesting. And he basically says they're not proud of it and we need to step up and get more clean sheets and goals, etc. But, I mean, in the interview is pretty much what we expect. But just on that stat, I mean, I'll come to you, Ryan. I didn't know that stat until today. And that's quite a bad stat, to be honest, in terms of we went behind 8 times this season.
It's a really worrying start because your back's up against the wall straight away. The fight's on as soon as you're down 1-0. It all comes down to there has been a few games where Rangers have started well, and I've thought, we're on it today, and then we go and concede the shittiest goal, and then that's it. We just seem to fall off the face of the earth. But it's definitely a problem. There is no doubt about it. I was interested to hear Gerrard saying that, and whether he's saying this to the press and it's a different message to the players. He sees a fighting character in the players. He said, I see this fighting character in the players. So he's not questioning it. I don't know about you, I'm not seeing it just now from us. And I know we've been quite negative on this pod. I do want to highlight that I completely believe in this team. I believe in this management team. We all know what they can do, and I think that's why we're all frustrated. We know they're capable of so much more. So I think he's maybe saying something different to the players. I don't think he'll be saying to them, I can see the fighting character. There's no way he said that after the Aberdeen game to them. But going behind 8 times already this season is definitely, he must be concerned about that. I think people need to switch on at the back a bit more. There's just I keep saying it, but there's just this lackadaisical attitude with them at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Scotia, you're a man into your stats and your spreadsheets and everything. Were you aware of that stat as well, in terms of we've went behind in 8 games this season?
I wasn't, and I was just having a quick look through stuff there while Ryan was speaking. I can only make out 3 in the league that we've went behind. From what I've quickly looked at, there's St Johnstone, Hibs and St Mirren. So I think some of them must have to be in Europe as well.
Aberdeen.
Malmo game probably. Well, obviously Aberdeen last night, or not last night, and Wednesday night, yeah. But no, I wasn't aware of that, and it's not a great stat, and we need to be starting games better. Because then you're playing catch up, needing to get those 2 goals, and we're struggling to find goals at the moment as well. Like Ryan said, from open play in particular. Yeah,
and it kind of backs up in terms of how Rangers don't seem to start games. I know Ryan said, and they do, sometimes you get a start for Rangers in the second half, they peter out, but it kind of backs up how we're just not starting games right, Carney.
No, we're not. And it is. When I heard it today, I was like, God, that's quite a lot. It's more than you actually think. I mean, in terms of the rest of the press conference, look, I don't know what some of the questions they get asked are just ridiculous. They really are. Yeah. I mean, would you like? One of them was something about if your team drop points or that again, are you going to be upset? Well, what do you think the answer to that question is? Do you know what I mean? It's such you're wasting a question. There's no need to ask a question like that. I am delighted the fact that Ryan Jack's nearly there. I am gutted that Ryan Kent's not going to be back, because I think we need some sort of injection of life. But I was thinking about it driving home in the car from work. Gerrard might be playing a wee joker card there. Kent might be ready. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for it that he will be ready. Be good to see him back. But yeah, I mean, some of the in terms of just not starting games right, but it's we still harp on to what last season was as well, and how remarkable a season it was. And it was. The stats are incredible. We broke all sorts of records. It was brilliant. The start of 1 game in 50, again, an incredible stat. However, that was last season. This is this season. It's completely different. I'm going to steal a saying that David Edgar says. We're not for what you done for us then, it's what are you doing for us now. And that's really all it. That's the way we are as Rangers fans. And right now, this team they're not doing what they should be doing. And again, I'll agree with Ryan, it's frustration. They're not performing to the levels that we know they can. Again, I mean, Gerrard's not in a shaky peg or anything like that. Like, he's got plenty of credit in the bank. There is nobody out there we're going to get better than him. But I think some of the players need to, I don't know, just turn on, switch on a bit, take control and take a bit of responsibility. I think we can only go on so long saying, having Gerrard saying, that's on me, it's up for us to fix and whatever else. It's time for the players to start responding to the gaffer's loyalty, I suppose.
Yeah. No, it's. I just thought it was quite an interesting start in terms of, I didn't even think about that, to be honest. But no, it's true. The players need to take responsibility here. I mean, to me, in that first half of Aberdeen, I thought Joe Aribo was taking on Aberdeen himself at times, to be honest. Only guy that showed a bit of heart, desire and everything. And people need to step up to his level, I really think. And yeah, as we say in this podcast, hopefully it happens in the next game. And in terms of Motherwell, but coming on to Motherwell, sitting sixth in the league, won 4, drawn 3, lost 4. They drew 2 each with St Mirren during the week, but before that they've lost 3 in a trot. So they've been going through a bit of shaky bit of form. Yeah, I'll just quickly before we go to the teams, Scotia, thoughts on Motherwell? Do you think? Well, to me, we should be going there and getting 3 points and hopefully putting that performance in.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, they've probably dropped off it in the last 4 games, but they started really well. They started the season really well, and they were up sort of right beside us, Hibs, Hearts, and Celtic weren't even in there at that point. It was just us, Hibs, and Hearts. Yeah, Stephen O'Donnell will be playing, so I'm looking forward to when you send the first text to the group chat saying he's rubbish. Looking forward to that. So we need to win this game. Yeah. We really need to win it.
Oh, no, every game's a must-win with Rangers, but I just want a performance. Ryan, thoughts on Motherwell on Sunday?
They'll fancy it. They will fancy it on Sunday. After the way they played it, or the way we played at Ibrox, I think at the end of that game there was only one team scoring the second goal and it wasn't Rangers. So I think they'll fancy it on Sunday. We have got to be on it, and I've said this a few times. We cannot play the way we have been playing and get 3 points on Sunday. We need an Aribo, or we need a Hadji, or we need an Alfie. We need somebody to pull a performance in and get 3 points, because this month has turned into a horror show for us when it really could have been a really good month for us. And it's turned into a horror show, and let's not continue that theme. Rangers need to go there and put a performance in Sunday. They need to. Yeah,
I mean, Carney, I fully expect Motherwell, as we've seen teams when we've been away from home, will come screaming out of traps and they'll press us high, just as Dundee United have, other teams have away from home. Do you expect the same? And do you think Rangers will try and combat that by us coming at them? Because every away game we've watched, i.e. Dundee United, etc., they've went, and St Mirren, they've went right at Rangers the first 10 minutes.
Well, no, because it's Sunday and it's a noon
kick-off. It's 12 o'clock.
Oh, no. So, no, Rangers won't show up till about 20 minutes into the match anyway, at least. No, I think Motherwell will come out and go straight for us. I really do. There has to be at some point, I'm sick of saying it, but it has to happen at some point. We need to put in some form of performance where we can go, oh, that was more like it. That was what it should be. I don't know what the weather's to be like. Obviously, the weather's been pretty horrific, so that pitch is probably not in a very good state, so it's probably going to be pretty horrible. So I expect a tough match, but they're going to fancy it. I mean, they really are, especially if they manage to get a goal, because I don't know how the team will respond. I really don't. It's really over to Rangers now. It's really over to the team to get going, and I agree with Scotia. I know every game's a must-win, but we have to get 3 points on Sunday.
Yeah, no, it's a massive game on Sunday. It really is. So, yeah, we'll come on to the teams first, and I'll just leave the scores to the end there. So, I mean, I'll give you my team quickly first. I'm going with Shagger coming back in, a back four of Tav, Goldson, Balogun, Bassey at left back, midfield 3, Aribo, I think Davis will come back in, Kamara, and front 3 of Hadji, Morelos, Roof. That's what I think. Scotia, what's your team?
As Carney mentioned there about the weather, I had a quick look at the highlights of the game against St Mirren midweek that Motherwell had, and the pitch was holding a bit of water up in where the left-sided player will be playing. So Roof likes a swimming pool, so yeah, he'll win my team. But yeah, I'm going same back 5, keeper and back 4 as you. I've went for midfield of Davis, Kamara, and Arfield. I know Gerrard mentioned in his press conference today that Arfield's given him a bit of headache, and he's starting to train as well as he was training last season. So I'm bringing him in midfield, and then up top going Aribo, Morelos, and Roof.
Decent. Ryan?
My team's the same as yours, Ali. I think Lundstrom will get dropped out. I think Davis will come in. I'm going 2-1 Rangers.
Well, Ryan's put a scoreline in as well.
Sorry, I thought Scotia gave a scoreline. Apologies.
No. It's all right, well, I've got your scoreline.
Sorry about that.
Carney, what's your team?
Same as yours, mate. It's not the team that I would particularly go for myself, but I think you'll stick with it. I think it'll be exactly that's the team I think it will be. I just hope that I hope that Ryan Kent gets put in there. I really do. I hope Gerrard was playing a wee joker card there and Kent's back. But yeah, it's exactly the same as yours, mate. I agree with Ryan, 2-1 Rangers, although I fully expect a 1 each draw. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think the team could do with a wee freshen up, but I looked at the bench and I said to you this at the week, during the week, Carney, you looked at the bench and there wasn't much there, to be honest, in terms of what could freshen up. And Scotia could be right, to be honest. I did have a wee think of Arfield today, so he might come in, but it's a wee bit telling that when you look at the bench now and you go, there's not really much there. So, yeah, my scoreline, oh God, I'm going to go more positive. 3-1 Rangers. And I think Aribo will score the first goal. Scotia, what's your scoreline and first goal scorer?
Yeah, I'm going 2-1 as well. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. In fact, I can probably see us going behind again. So the first goalkeeper will be a Motherwell player. First goal scorer, even not goalkeeper. Go for Morelos, first goal scorer.
Okay. It's quite telling that we all think we're going to concede again, which is a bit of a trend going forward. So hopefully it's a clean sheet and Rangers can put it back in our faces. So yeah, that was actually a good podcast there, guys. So yeah, I would like to thank, first of all, the face of Club at 22 and the host, not tonight though, Scott Carney.
The face? I'll take that, mate. I'll happily take that. I'm the face of the podcast. Yes. Yeah, it was good, lads. I really enjoyed it. As I say, on to Sunday now. Just please, Rangers, don't disappoint us. Please go out there and get us a win. It's funny how the way things have been going, that we've been thinking we want Rangers to get a performance. I'm getting less bothered about the performance, to be completely honest, and I just want Rangers to win. That's really it. We have to start getting 3 points on the board and shave your balls with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
Yep. And Ryan, thanks very much. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Cheers,
boys. Yes, I hope you enjoy your weekend. It's been a tough week for everyone linked with Rangers. So, yes, let's hope Rangers kick on Sunday. And what is the Manscaped thing again?
Your balls will thank you.
And your balls will thank you, Ali. I'm a practice that for the next one.
Yeah. And last but not least, Scotia Gemmell, pleasure having you on. I know you're away to shave your balls tonight and get the deodorant on for tomorrow night, so I hope you enjoy that.
Indeed. Just away to try it out. Yes, indeed. This has been really good. Actually, it's been as I say, it's been a fairly shitty week, and this has cheered me right up. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, so as we say, if you want to go into Manscaped website and use the code CLUB@22, you'll get 20% off. And as Scotia will do a wee, in the next pod, he'll do a sort of how we got on in terms of using the product. I'll see him tomorrow night, so I'll ask him how he got on. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, we have been Club@22, the Rangers podcast. And yeah, if you could like, share and follow on Facebook, Instagram, we're on TikTok as well, and also YouTube. We're getting close to that 1,000 subscribers, so we would appreciate. We would love to get there before Christmas. That'd be a good early Christmas present for all of the lads here. So yeah, we have been Club@22, the Rangers podcast, and we will see you again. Thanks.